Welcome everyone to another edition of Listening In. In case you don't know the drill, my name is Seth Becker, and we're going to listen to a real phone call today. Now, normally it's a phone call that is between a recruiter and a driver, but we're mixing it up. We're going to listen to a phone call between an HR representative and a diesel tech prospect. So a little bit different, but I think a lot of the principles will remain the same. Now, as you know or may not know, while this is a real call, it's been re-recorded so that we protect, phone numbers, names, the innocent. So, without further ado, let's jump in. And I'll be pausing along the way just to share thoughts, things that went well, things that could have maybe been better, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's jump in.
Please wait while we connect your call.
Good afternoon, Human Resources. This is Angie. How may I help you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
All right.
So right off the bat, something that we talk about way too often on this show is they identified themselves, right? HR, their name, but what company is this? We have no idea, which seems really weird that you would answer a phone call and not talk about who it is so that that person knows without a doubt that they're talking to the right person or the right company that they intended to call. So little opportunity right off the bat. Let's make sure we're saying it.
I'm trying to find a job.
You're trying to find a job. Well, you probably called one of the best places to call.
Yeah, well,
Now, I do love that phrase. I think that's pretty solid, right? Right off the bat, confirming that he made a good decision by calling in. So I think that's a pretty cool statement. Gets the person excited about what they're going to talk about.
yeah, well, diesel. I'm trying to get into diesel field.
Oh, you want to be...
I've been doing it at home for like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I never went to school or anything for it, but I got good at it, over time.
All right. And what was your name?
Yeah, my name's Philip.
Philip?
Johnson.
Right. What was the last name? I'm sorry. What was the last name?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the phone number for you, Philip?
Phone number is 555-282-4902.
4902?
Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. So you said you've been doing diesel for 2 years on your own?
Uh-huh. I got good at it and stuff, I had, on my truck, I was fixing and doing my repairs, and I was I was using the YouTube, and I learned a lot. But, I didn't go to school, but I did. I learned a lot.
You went to school then also?
No, I didn't ever go to school.
Oh, didn't go to school. Okay. All right. Now, you want diesel mechanic.
I just got to quickly say for a moment, Audrey, is that you, your voice? So Josh, you always nail it. Audrey, it's amazing how realistic this is. It matches the real call perfectly. So awesome job capturing the tone on that. Very friendly, right? It's easy conversation. The drivers, see, I'm so used to talking about drivers. The prospect, the diesel tech prospect here, opening up, right? It's just a casual conversation, easy going. Doesn't last very long, so we'll continue to listen in and share a few more ideas.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So with a diesel mechanic, I can't guarantee a first shift. I'd have to see what they have available.
What shift they have?
Are you okay? They have first, second, and third, but most likely would be a second or third shift. Do you have that kind of availability?
Third shift. How's that work? I'm thinking about third shift, but what is it? Like, is that overnight?
Yep, that's overnight. Okay. And what kind of pay are you looking for, Philip?
For third shift?
All right, so another good thing I think here is you can tell this HR rep has had this conversation before, because I would imagine as they get into these conversations, one thing that they probably hear all the time as far as a concern goes is, what shift? Because second and third shifts, those may not be easy shifts to fill. So I love that the HR rep, right in the beginning, right, not in the intro, but as they start to get into it, addresses that head on of, hey, probably not the first shift, but we're looking for second and third. So they're setting that expectation up front just in case that individual's like, no way, not going to work for me. Hey, we'll try to talk through that a little bit, but if it's not a good fit, then we move on. So I think that's great that they understand the common objections and concerns, trying to address it on the front end. Now we're transitioning into pay, which also makes complete sense, right? Probably another one of those objections or questions that comes up early. Let's just get out in front of it.
Probably about, 25 an hour, 26, somewhere
Okay.
in there.
All right. So what I might do is I'm going to take all this information that you and I just talked about, and then I'm going to send it over to the recruiter for the Tulsa area. Is that where you're at? Is Tulsa? I'm sorry. That's what came up on the phone. You're in Oklahoma?
Yeah,
And what's
I'm
the...
in Oklahoma. I'm about 30 miles away from Tulsa.
Well, what about Sand Springs? Because I know Sand Springs is kind of on the northern end, I think.
I'm about 45 minutes away from Sand Springs.
Okay. Would that be okay for you? Is that good?
Yeah, if the money's right.
Okay.
I mean, I can afford the gas. I mean,
So I do think it's a pretty good question, right? We're trying to get that buy-in from the individual early on into some of these big areas. But instead of asking, is that okay? I think potentially a better way to ask that is, how does that sound? And that way, it's more of an open-ended question so that if that person is kind of hesitant or maybe wants to ask some more questions about it, that opens the door to have a really good conversation as opposed to just a yes or no.
I'd have to, I don't mind driving.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to send this
Let me ask
information.
you this. How's the second shift work? I forgot to ask you about that first.
The second shift. The second. Okay. So our first shift is like 7 to 3. Our second shift is 3 to 11. And our third shift is 11 to 7.
Gotcha. And on that second shift, well, what days do they require you to work?
I can't guarantee you have weekends off. You may have to work a weekend, or they'll give you 2 days off together during the week or something like that.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because I'll try, because I need like a Wednesday
Okay.
off, like Wednesday and Sunday.
So what I'll do is, when you talk to the recruiter, just let him know that information because he'll tell you a little more about the position that they're looking for, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay, all right.
All
I
right.
look forward to it.
Okay. And he should call you today.
Gotcha. Well, I'll be looking for it. I'll have my phone by my side.
And it's going to come from a 555 number.
555 number? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So look out for that, okay?
Okay, I got you.
All right. You have a wonderful day.
All right, you too.
All right. Bye, Philip.
Bye-bye.
All right. So something that I liked about the end of that call there was the HR rep giving the individual a heads up that, hey, this is the phone number that you can expect a call from, so be on the lookout for it. And I think what could have made that even better potentially is if we know the recruiter's name of that will be reaching out, let's go ahead and use it. That way, Philip feels like there's already a connection there because he's gotten an introduction. The other thing that I think at the end of that call that, where possible, could be even better is, well, why is the recruiter going to call him later in the day? I think it's great they're getting back to him fairly quickly, but could we just do a warm transfer? Like, let's get him on the phone now. I could tell as that call was wrapping up that there were more questions, right? Philip wanted to ask some more things, but the HR rep understandably doesn't have all the answers because it sounds like it's a very specific position at a specific location. So let's get them connected right away. But I do like the fact that, hey, it is that day, and they said, hey, be on the lookout for a 555 number. So the reason we wanted to listen into this call is it's pretty timely, right? We've seen the average age of trucks really increase over the past couple of years because it's been more difficult to get newer trucks. So when we're holding on to equipment longer, there's going to be more repairs, more maintenance that's required, making those diesel techs an extremely important piece to keeping everything running smoothly. So when you think about the phone call in general, pretty pleasant, right? Easy conversation. Philip was able to get some questions answered, and the HR rep did a good job in some areas, right? Using his name, making it a comfortable conversation, addressing some of those concerns early on so that they weren't concerns, and then letting the individual know when the follow-up's going to happen, or at least a general time frame. So the only other thing I would say about this call that could make it even better is just, once again, that warm transfer, right? Because there is a high demand. I think when you look at a scale, it's something like recruiting difficulty score is something like a 99 out of 100, right? High demand. So what can we do to help progress this candidate in the process faster? So we appreciate you tuning in. Please add comments, continue to join us. If you've got ideas, share those. But we appreciate you listening in, and we hope you tune in next time. Thank you.